Hey guys, so I should have done this video a little while ago and I just been busy. I want to do this video to commemorate the pullout of troops from Afghanistan. I watched the Joe Biden press conference this morning. I was getting ready for work, and he's talking about a number of things. I mean, it's good. I'm a different person than I was. I was 11. I started really getting political when I was 13. I've talked about it. I mean, me becoming a libertarian. I was kind of a conservative at one time, and I think that's just due to my upbringing in the church. That liberalism is bad. It's all of the bad stuff, and understanding now that much of that's propaganda. That what the right wing does is use fear tactics and stuff like that, because that's all they've got. I've talked about that before. How what the pedophile cannibal stuff really is about is that's the last thing they've got to scare people with. That they did it with the lavender scare, they did it with the red scare, they did it with they're doing it with Mexicans. That's all Republicans have, is to tell white people you're losing your heritage, you're losing your country, and there's nothing new about that. Nothing. That's about as Americans out playing baseball, and I've learned to accept that. I've talked about how for me, when I first saw the Democrats weren't going to do anything about the fact we went to war on the basis of a lie. I mean, I kept expecting there to be hearings. I kept expecting there to be, some type of a response, some type of a investigation, and there wasn't. And I kept expecting there to be, something else, and they didn't. And what the Democrats did was push for body armor for the troops. And that's when I started to understand that I'm not a Democrat. And I understand now, I should understand then, when the Republican Party goes right, the country goes with them. And that's just something to be expected, that when they go right, the country goes with them. I mean, they could just, and I've talked about it, how as long as they can just scream communist, and now with the adrenochrome, the QAnon stuff, as long as they can just scream about those type of things, then there's nothing we can do about it. That's all there is. That era's got to end. That era's got to die off. Their way of life must end. There's no reasoning to it. As long as you can just run in and scream communist and people lose votes, that's not a democracy. You're not going to have a discussion with those kind of people, period. And I hope we do pull out September 11th. I hope that they pull troops out. I hope this thing goes however it goes. That's my hope. That's my prayer. But I still see America as an empire. And my first thought was, if they pull out of Afghanistan, they're just going to start another war. I mean, you guys realize, when they made that statement back in the day of bringing troops home, that meant to bring the troops home and demobilize. Like, that's what that means. Bringing the troops home don't just mean taking troops out of an area and sending them somewhere else. That's not what that means, sending them to Syria or whatever. I said this before, and I may end on this, and I mean this. The murder of General Soleimani, which was a war crime, I think, in effect, represented the end of the war on terror. And that the war now is empire, and the war now is on larger conflicts, conflict with China. I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but I think that's what that was. That represented another era in American empire. You know, there's a lot of talk about the South China Sea stuff with China. We have to wait to find more on that. I think America's moving down the path to a multi-front war. Like that's just what I see. The comments Biden made about Putin were irresponsible. Period. He shouldn't have made them, and they were reckless. And I want to say this too, that the fact that people on the left feel like Joe Biden is something special, that's also kind of sad. That's another example of how far right America's going. But Joe Biden is basically bringing you back to the Obama era. That's effectively all. Effectively, he could put you back in a situation that you were in before Trump, and you'll love him for it. We're gonna go back to the droning. We're gonna go back to the assassinations. Things aren't going to change, and people will love him for it. That's kind of sad, ain't it? Like the left's like we're like a drowning man. We're like a drowning man, and like every couple of minutes or so, we'll like get our head above the water. It's like, oh, good. And it's like, dude, you're still drowning. Like you're just, yeah. It's like the tide comes up and you bounce up. That's all. Like that's not good, and it shows you, you know, the status of the left in America is in a really bad situation. I hope, you know, that Joe Biden's able to succeed at a lot of things. I looked at something earlier this morning. This guy did an interview, and I guess he had made some comments on his Twitter or something about, he's trying to say in essence that he doesn't think Joe Biden's in control of his own administration. And then he punked out and he's like, oh no, that's not what I meant. That's effectively what he meant. People got to understand the Republican Party is playing a different game altogether, and that their game is more ruthless, it's more vicious, it's more cold-blooded, and we've got to understand that you're not going to reason with these people. That it's not about achievement or it's not about any of that stuff. It's about viciousness, and it's about cold-hearted politics. It's about attacking people, and it's about being mean and low and nasty. And that's what the Republican Party is. It's about recognizing, as a Republican, you've lost the culture war, so you are effectively going to create your own victories where you can find them. I've talked about with Obama. They called him gay. They said his wife was a tranny. He was from another country. I've heard it said before with Pac-Man that you have the effeminate liberal, the effeminate worldly traveled man. You saw it with John Kerry. That to be an intellectual is to be soft. Is to be an intellectual, to be a traveled, educated man is to be a pussy. And that's what you saw the Republican Party with how they handled Obama. I mean, you can't win with these people. You can't win with these people, you know. I think I'm gonna end it there.